Welcome back to Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with you're here with Ella.
And I'm Bernice.
Hey Bernice. Do you like my snappy casual?
Wow. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know we were doing this early in the morning. I literally have wet hair and Ella comes here with a blazer and I was like, oh, didn't get those chapter notes. No, you look good. What's happening? Where are you going?
This is my new normal. No, honestly, I wear that. You guys, I'm a creature of habit. So I was like, let's just not wear my pajamas or my oversized denim jacket, my Kanye jacket. I was like, let's do something else. And I was like, blazer it is. But I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks. How are you?
No, I'm well. Well, let's see. Mexico, I've been feeling ill. I just think the altitude got to me and I'm like allergic to everything in the air and the water and just everything. So it's basically been a little challenging. But yesterday is my last day. Today's my last day here, but yesterday my mom took me to the doctor. And mind you, I obviously did not grow up with my mom. So I didn't see her for 15 years. I have siblings, they're 9 years old. And yesterday I was one of those kids, okay? She made me breakfast, she took me to the doctor, she took me to the pharmacy, she was just doing all these things. And I was like, wow, this is nice. And then she bought me a treat. And I was like, wow, just getting taken care of.
So wait, let's cover it for everybody. You went to EDC Mexico. And then, you went to a wedding, destination wedding, and then you're hanging out with your mom and your siblings.
Yeah, and well, the first week in Mexico, I mainly ran around. I was not with my mom and siblings. I was causing debauchery in Mexico City. There's a lot to do here. So
it's one of my favorite cities, baby.
Yeah, there's just...
We'll have to go together. That's got to be on our 2020. We got to make that a trip.
Yeah, I came with my family last year, and then this time I came with my boyfriend, and then next time I want to come with friends. So I think those are really different experiences.
Your boyfriend?
I know, I just didn't know what to say. I don't know how to, when you kind of shift over or something. We can talk about it later. But
she just breezed over this. We're doing labels.
Listen, okay? How do I bring someone who's just my friend to Mexico where I'm meeting up with family members and stuff? This is just my friend who I hang out with sometimes. No.
Can I tell you something that makes me think of? It's a little off topic, but I think about this once a month because this is a long story short. I got pulled into the principal's office with the police because of a guy I was hooking up with. And I was too embarrassed to be this is barely a situationship. I just hook up with him. And they were like, so you're telling me you don't know your boyfriend's tag? That you hang out with your boyfriend and you and your boyfriend are really close and you don't know his tag. And I'm in the office with my principal and my security guard, this police officer, who are all my mom's coworkers. And I'm crying and I'm like, he's not really my boyfriend. We're just hooking up. And literally everyone, my principal was told the police officer, okay, let's wrap this up. She literally was like, I'm so sorry you had to admit that to all of us. And I was like, that was so embarrassing, but that's just the word I wanted to use.
He doesn't want to use labels. No, yeah, we did have that conversation where I was like, well, you are coming to Mexico and you are meeting a lot of my friends and family. So you kind of have to figure out who you want to be. But yeah, story for another time. Next time, I do want to come with friends because there's just a lot to do here. But yeah, I've been definitely running around and it's definitely impacted my well-being. So we're getting taken care of though. So it's totally good. It's totally fine. Yeah, I'm doing great. Lots of wins. Cabo was interesting. I don't know if I necessarily go back to Cabo. Maybe I'm not a Cabo girly. There's just a lot of Americans there. There's a lot of America in Cabo. And I was at a wedding, which was beautiful. My best friend got married. I could not stop crying. It's just one of those events that you're like. But during the reception, they opened the dance floor. And the thing is, my best friend and I went to college together, and we're all sorority fraternity people. So we've never learned to be classy, okay? And they gave us all glassware. Why would they do that? Obviously, I guess, they were like, oh my God, classy wedding, lots of money. Let's give them glassware. Well, they opened the dance floor, and everybody went up there with a glass, wine glass or whatever, my God, like 10 minutes into the dancing, there's blood. There's blood everywhere.
Oh my God.
Girls started taking off their shoes. Somebody broke a glass, didn't pick it
Classic.
up, and somebody slashed their foot open. You know what I mean? So there were really blood, sweat, and tears at this wedding, but it was quite the occasion to have like your college
Beautiful.
reunion 5 years too early.
You gonna do it again in 5 years, or you just gonna say
I
you're
think
good?
this one was good.
Yeah.
Overall, I've been having a great time. Ella, how you been? Anything new?
Yeah, you go. I don't want to say I'm struggling. That's like a bad word. I think it's like, so you guys, exciting news. I submitted a short play to a festival competition. So I technically have written 2 screenplays, which is twice as many as I have ever written. So like, yay, that's so good. But like,
Wow!
writing as much as I've been writing is a part-time job, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of, I had a breakdown on Sunday, and I'll tell you what the breakdown is, okay? Like, you guys, I just want to say, like, things are so expensive, and like, I really get it. And like, basically, like, I'm in this position where I'm trying to move. I have 2 destination weddings to go to this year, and I'm also like, have a new job and a part-time job that I'm doing, right? So I just was like a little overwhelmed, and I was like, oh my God, like, if I don't move in a month, because I wanted to move by May 1st, because I was like, I want to get out, I want to live on my own, I want to start my new journey. And like, I literally just decided, like, it's okay. It's not a failure if you like push it out because of money. Like, I'm going to London for a wedding, which I'm so excited about. It's going to be like so beautiful. And then I'm going to Knoxville for a wedding. Again, so excited for that. But it's like moving, wedding. I just don't have the money. And I feel like I was like kind of beating myself up about it. I think I've discovered in myself that the thing I hate the most, like the feeling I hate the most, is feeling like broke. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
literally, I did the calculations. I don't have enough money. Like, let's just put it out there. Like, I could make it work if I decided I wanted to give away all of my belongings, but I have to go buy the belongings again. So we might push out moving just a bit. So if you see me still in Seattle, don't fucking say anything, because I'm kind of like tripping myself up
Sore
about it.
subject.
Yeah, it's a sore subject. But we're gonna get there eventually. Everything's all good. But yeah, really excited about my short play that I finished. And then the 2 like little, I don't know, like plugs of the week. The Oscars were last night,
Mm-hmm.
and I've watched every Oscar nominated film. And the 2 that like haven't not as yeah, the 2 that I loved the most was The Only Girl in the Orchestra, which won Best Documentary Short. It's about the New York Orchestra, and she was like the literally the only girl in the orchestra. She was the first woman to be in the orchestra. If you don't know, like many things in this world, it was a male dominated industry. There was no women, and she was the first woman, and she was like the only woman for like 10 years, and was like this pioneer. And she also played the upright bass, which is big ass instrument, and so it's kind of like not like a cutesy girl instrument. But something she said that like I have just been like, just like I was like, oh, okay. When she first picked up her instrument, she played it every single day for 4 years. And then now she's
Well,
like one of the best like upright bass players in the world.
yeah.
Her niece was the person who filmed this and was like, "You're so incredible. Like, you don't understand how incredible she is. You are." And she was like, "Well, not really. Like, anyone who had put in this amount of work into an instrument could do what I do." Like, she didn't see herself as special. She like saw herself as like effort equals opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I've just been thinking a lot about that. And so that's something that's free on Netflix that I would say people should go see. But that's why I'm like pushing myself so much to write at the frequency that I'm writing, is because like I don't know how to write yet. It's a totally new thing. I don't know how to write screenplays. So what am I going to do? Just like the first one's going to be good? Like, nah, I got to write
No.
11 of these bitches so that I can like get the reps under my belt.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that's with anything. You can
Exactly.
sometimes right now I'm having the thing where like I want to get other people to like sew for me, and sometimes you have to get people that have like experience in it. If not, they don't know how to do it. Not that they can't learn, but yes, you do realize over time that something comes more naturally or easy for you, but it's really because you've been doing it for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how many outfits have you made? You
Too
know?
many.
Too
Too
many.
many.
Not too many, just the beginning, baby.
I know, but how many outfits have I physically? Too many, okay? That's
Yeah.
what the model needs to change. It is what it is. You only have so many hours in the day. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, baby girl. Oh
Yeah,
yes. That's why
yeah.
I'm in a blazer at 8:30 on the morning recording a podcast because you got to make it work.
100%. Yeah, but if you were to ask me to go on Project Runway, I'd say no problem. Let's do it tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like I have full faith that I could whip up a few outfits in 2 days if I
I think
need to.
I'm gonna be honest. I think you would thrive in the Project Runway
Be like, stress,
format.
I don't know her. I've been living this lifestyle for 7 years.
Depending on people's backgrounds, like they made a portfolio and that's the 8 things they've ever made. They've never made something in a day, you know? Like their process is just longer. So it's actually interesting you say that, but Christian Siriano, he dressed Halle Berry and Whoopi
Mm-hmm.
Goldberg for the Oscars. I think he did
Yeah,
one more. And they looked stunning. I loved Whoopi's dress.
yeah,
And he started on Project Runway, baby.
I know. You never know. You'll never know. But shall we get into our talk of the day?
Revenge arc, baby. Let's do it. Revenge arc, okay? Because who doesn't need a little bit of revenge to help fuel them? A little bit of spite, baby.
Oh God, I love spite.
I probably like spite more than like I should. That's why I have imaginary haters in my head, is because it propels me forward.
Listen, okay, I know you're not supposed to have hate in your heart. You're not supposed to hold grudges. You're not supposed to blah blah blah. I'm a Scorpio. I don't work like that. I will openly say like I do hold grudges, and sometimes grudges do fuel you. A little bit of, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And sometimes
Mm.
you do need a little love, fire, and passion to do anything you want.
Honestly, it's like you got to find your fire somewhere, baby. And
Yeah.
sometimes it comes in unexpected ways. I think like I very early on have like glommed on to like, oh, you can't do that. No, bitch, yes, I can. I love when someone says I can't do something because it makes me want to do it more. Okay. And luckily now I don't have as many can't people around me, but I still sometimes hear it from people. And I just think it's like, you know what, baby?
I'll show you. I'll show you. I just show you where to go. There's nothing that will force me to change my whole life other than like a breakup. It could be like a friend breakup. It could be a relationship breakup. It could be a family breakup. But I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna show you how I will become a new person. I will become a person you've never met before, and maybe you don't want to meet again. I've never taken upon myself to cause revenge. Well, maybe that's a lie. I did homie hop once. Did I know that was probably gonna hurt his feelings? Yes. Did I do it anyway? Yes. Maybe that's my only evil
I've done it too. Who hasn't?
character arc. But those are silly, okay?
Is it that serious? I don't think so.
If your homie is hitting me up, that is revenge enough that I know that they don't care about you, bro.
I know. It's like dang, and they were roommates. Like your roommate did you dirty
Yeah.
like that? It's because they don't really give a fuck.
Damn. You got bad friends. Revenge enough.
Okay, so I will say, like, whenever I had a breakup, like, I remember one friendship breakup where they said something that maybe not the best delivery, so it didn't hit me right away, but I was like, I actually don't like that. What they said was partially true and was something like I didn't like about myself. And I was like, you know what? Let me fucking change that because then no one can say anything about me ever again. you know? So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, you want to take things like people say things that might be not in the kindest of hearts or it just might not like don't take it all on, but there might be a little nugget worth of something that you want to use as part of your revenge arc. You think I'm all talk and I don't do shit? Well, let me do some shit. Okay, let me do
Yeah.
some shit.
Let me do some shit.
let me
Do
let me
more.
move forward as a person and evolve because then when it's like, oh, what, like you guys aren't friends anymore, it's like, oh yeah, well she was all talk, she never did anything, and people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? She does a hella shit, she does everything she says, she's big on follow through.
Yeah. And I think like you can have these like low ups and shifts physically, emotionally, and both. That when I was younger, a lot of my changes were more physical, like right off the bat. I think I went for let me change my hair. Like, there's nothing I love more than to change my fucking hair. Um, and also just like working out. I once became like, I wanted to be a professional weightlifter for
I
about
know,
a year and a
bodybuilder
half.
there.
A bodybuilder all of a sudden, okay, because I was fighting my demons. My demons were my emotional wounds. And I think as I've gotten older, I think it's good to have kind of like this new era of your life where you do put your mind on something like a physical change. I have become more emotionally mature that I'm like, all right, where's this hurt coming from? And maybe just rationalizing the situation a little bit more with how, you know, it affects my feelings or my background, or if somebody broke up with me, obviously those things suck, but like if I'm seeking still validation from that person, how do those reflect on sort of like my past wounds? um so I think like there's different ways that you could really like glow up after a breakup.
I agree. I'm just giggling because like the best I've ever looked is when an ex tried to tell me to like stop going to the gym. Like not because he was like, like this is kind of like my place and like I don't know, I feel like if I see you here it's gonna like bother me. Bitch, tell me why I've never been more consistent with the gym. I was there every single day. I was like, first of all, you don't own this fucking gym. Second of all, you don't want to see me here. Bitch, you'll see me here. And so I literally was like, nope, we're going every single day. Every single day this motherfucker had to see me because I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna be pushed out of the goddamn gym. No, 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 no. You
Yeah.
can't use this bench with me, bitch. Remember, you didn't want to see me. You can't work in.
Yeah, believe me, like those things do fuel you. I feel like that sometimes with the government in the United States, sometimes with the rhetoric of people, our current president, and his shit talking about Latinos, specifically Mexicans, where I've been like, damn, like he, it's been like a trend on TikTok. Like, not all, I took your job, I took your degrees, and I took your man too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this person doesn't want me to be happy here. Out of spite, I'm gonna be the best version of myself here, and I'm gonna be happy here, and I'm gonna. And to me, it's been interesting because I have never necessarily aspired to take a job. I have always aspired to make jobs. So you know what I mean.
Yes.
Sometimes the best set of revenge is to just flip that coin and be exactly the opposite of what they're telling you that you are. Not necessarily because you're trying to prove to them, but out of the fact that, like, I am so far removed from this reality that you say that I'm just gonna focus on myself and do my own thing.
At this point, being happy is like a revenge arc against our current government. Like, it's honestly, it's so fucking sad. I really agree. And this is for me personally with like a revenge arc of being like a poor brown kid. Um, Dude, being poor growing up fucking sucks. It really does. And like now, I am like happy despite the obstacles. And I think now I'm focusing on happiness. And it's part of like my great revenge. I know that like my student loans should probably stress me out. I'm not gonna let it. Okay. Like I'm just not like I just refuse to like be unhappy because of like the system that has been put in place to keep me down.
I agree with that. I think that is my ultimate spite is my pursuit of happiness. Like, I will be happy here and I will be staying here. Thank you very much. You know, another way that I think revenge works, that I do it in my own way, is like after a breakup, I will pick up a hobby and I am going to become annoyingly good at it. The best you've ever seen, baby. And the thing is, like, I'm doing that hobby because I need something to keep me mentally stimulated and not thinking about the situation. But because I need that constantly, I'm going to be doing that hobby 3 times a day.
Yeah, that hobby. I'm a big person who picks up hobbies.
Yeah.
I also just pick up like a new version of myself after a breakup. It's like, you know what? Let's go through the next evolution so that I'm like unrecognizable. Cause like I like honestly want to disassociate from the relationship so much that my revenge arc is just like becoming the best version of myself and in a way just like transforming and like leaving an old version of me that allowed bad behavior behind. I
Yeah.
wish that like I could like say like, oh, I've had really great exes. Nope, no, not any good ones. Like, I know some people who have had, like, amicable breakups, and it just wasn't the right person. No, not me. So now I feel like my best revenge is being a person that like it is just unclockable. My exes can say what they want, but people are gonna be look at me and be like, he's full of shit.
I don't think I've ever loved a relationship where like I'm like, damn, that one is the one that got away.
Yeah.
For
But
me, it's
cordial's different.
the
Cordial
core.
getaways are different. I literally hate every single one of my exes. I don't want to hate. I would never want harm to come befall them per se, but almost.
I have my ebbs and flows. I'm not a perfect human. Sometimes I'll be like, "Ah, it's okay to let them go. They weren't for me. And then sometimes I'm like, but am I happy sometimes when they have L's? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna, I was talking to somebody and I was like, have you ever kind of been like, have you ever taken like, no, has somebody ever, one of your friends, like tried to go out like for your girl after you break up with them? And he was like, I think I did that. And I was like, no way. So I got the tea. And they weren't like besties, but it was definitely one of their friends. And then later he like married the girl and then they got divorced. And like he was down bad. And I was like, you know what? I bet that guy whose girlfriend you low key swept, you low key came and scooped, I bet he giggled when you guys got divorced. He was not rooting for you, bro.
Dude, the evil eye, bro.
The evil eye. Um, Listen, I feel like that's a human emotion sometimes, like I ultimately people are who they are and karma will get you back in one way or another. And am I a terrible person for seeing karma get you and not being like, oh, but being like, what's fair is fair? I don't know. Karma will get us all at the end. So, be careful how you act. Be careful how you act.
Yes, I honestly I'd be careful how you act. I feel like part of the revenge arc, and I know this isn't like a positive thing, but like just trying to win the breakup is like I feel like it's like I want people to think I won the breakup. And so I try to keep it together, keep it tight so that people can look and be like, what, her life isn't in shambles. Maybe they
Yeah.
were bringing them down instead of lifting them up.
Yeah. At the end of the day, worrying about yourself. I don't know. I feel like sometimes when you have like mutual friends and stuff where people know two people after your breakup, there are kind of like that conceptions of what people are thinking. For me, I like to let people show their true colors. I think that you have a very different dynamic with people the longer that you know them. And I've had situations where I walk away from people and my best, like, sweet revenge is when they do the same thing to that person, either like a friend breakup or like another breakup. Like, they just kind of acted in this way that was like really inconsiderate of my emotions. And I get to say, girl, don't take it personal. That's just who they are. Because that
Yeah.
is who they are. You know what I mean? Like, the revenge part is that it validates me knowing that like I didn't walk away from like a good thing. I'm like, oh yeah, no, they act like this with everybody. This is just their character.
It's like a pursuit of a happy ending. Is like I actually wish that people would also have a revenge arc and prove me wrong, but that doesn't
Has
seem to
never happened.
happen. Yeah, it has not happened. I wish a lot of people well, but it's just interesting where I'm like, what is your like you're not doing a revenge arc, girl. Like, like this is no you're just being the same thing that got you into the mess that we got into.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes actually people do the other thing, they are taking revenge on themselves. I don't really know what the dealio is. Like, damn, like, who do we hate here? You or them?
So true, bro. Like the mountain is you. You're gonna be your own worst enemy in this life, and that's kind of part of the revenge arc is just walking away knowing that that person's like, this is gonna be like messed up or whatever. But it's like whatever someone has done to you, they are doing to themselves like 10 times over. So sometimes I just like I'm like I am not even like seeking revenge, but like a prayer of healing for that person because like the biggest revenge is that that person has to be with them 24/7 knowing what they did. I teeter between burning it all down and like letting just things go. Sometimes I just tend to like want to let things go and let people just like go their own way because I don't have to seek revenge from someone who is just like tearing through their own life.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
agree.
dudes have done me so dirty and I'm like, whatever. You're in like a love triangle and I just am like, I never want to do that shit. And then guess what? It never works out with the other person. Doesn't work out with them either.
I agree with you. There's a lot of people where I've talked to them and I'm like, I don't think you need to seek revenge or even like over explain yourself where you're like really trying to be heard. Look at that person. Would you switch plays with their lifestyle with yours? Are they a happy person? Do they make choices that show that they're happy people? No, then that person is miserable, okay? So that is all you need to know. That person over there is a sad, sad cloud. And do you like that's like your the whole thing. Like I'm not trying to be miserable, so why do I want to be over in that cloud? You know, they're
Yeah.
not making choices that are nice for them or anybody. And you don't need revenge. They do it to themselves.
Exactly, and sometimes that's why I don't even feel like saying my piece because with certain people, it's like it's not gonna click for them, so I don't really want to waste my breath. Like I don't want to try to like some people you just cannot communicate with, and that's like why I feel like a lot of like my breakups stem whether it's like family or whatever. It's just that you don't have a shared language, and you're really trying to have them hear you, but they're just not. For those people, I just don't say shit. I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll say, like, yeah, I don't think we're like, I'm like, I don't know. It's just like, what is there to say with someone who's just not hearing you?
Yeah, I think that there's like a way of communicating where it's like part of it is the other person trying to create understanding. And I think that sometimes in communication, we lack it and other people lack it where we're trying to be heard, but the other person isn't trying to understand. So if they're not trying to understand you, then you really have to take it upon yourself whether you are going to accept this person for who they are and at the moment in their lives that they are, or if you're like, you know what, maybe I deserve better than the situation and like no hard feelings. This is who they are. I mean, I just take my distance and get out of there.
Yeah, I think that's something that like as I've gotten older, I've gotten better at because it's at least in like breakups, I always wanted to have the last word, like I really wanted to be heard, da 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 da. And like fast forward to now, I'm like, oh my god, I don't even know why I like typed out and sent that paragraph or we had that last argument because it was just not clicking. And it's like I don't know why I did all that. I put way too much effort and got way too angry at someone that was just never going that wasn't trying to understand, like you were saying.
Yeah. And sometimes I flip that coin where I know that I do understand where the other person is coming from. But even if I understand where they're coming from, is like, will I be tolerating this behavior moving forward? And that's just kind of the vibe. Like this has happened to me when I try to set boundaries with people and they try to like over explain where they're coming from and almost like get really defensive. And I'm like, all I'm trying to tell you is do not do this shit again. And you telling me I know where you're coming from. I understand. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you that this is my boundary. And if you don't want to respect that boundary, then I have to skedaddle daddle.
I
You know?
honestly, I'm at the point where like I understand and I still don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm at now. A dude will tell me his like childhood trauma and I'm like, "Oh man, he's just a little boy who's trying to figure it out."
I can
And
fix
that's like
it.
my fatal flaw is because it's like, well, it doesn't matter that he's trying to figure it out because he's like treating me like shit. That's the fucking crux of the issue here. And like now I'm like understand, have empathy, but then still move on if it's not what I'm looking for. And I'm kind of like hearing, I think sometimes people say like, "Oh, you need to meet people where they're at," yada yada yada. I don't know. I feel like if someone's giving 10%, why the fuck are you gonna give 9%? I just rather give zero.
If you want to. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I don't know. I just never think you need to fight for things. Like things that click are not that hard.
Yeah.
Someone wants to meet you, things are gonna things are gonna get moving. But I think if you're feeling like you're fighting for something, then there's probably some sort of hesitance coming from the other direction. You shouldn't have to fight for like it's really not that crazy. And sometimes you know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's this misconception where it's like no one wants to be abandoned, and it's like no one should be abandoned. But I think it should be more praised when you choose to walk away from situations that don't serve you. They're like, well, she just like choose to walk away and never speak to that person again. Okay, did she communicate and then was that thing not reciprocated in any way, shape, or form after she communicated for the 15th time? Then cool that she walked away. That just means she likes herself.
Yeah, I agree. Have you seen this? I mean, honestly, I'm not even fucking gonna recommend it, but the latest season of Love is Blind, I'm I'm like one of those things where I'm just like, dang, y'all should I get wanting to be on reality TV, but why are you torturing yourself this much to be on reality TV? Like you and this man are like you and this man are not meant to be. Like, is it really worth it? I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, I cannot believe you're torturing yourself with this fake relationship with this guy that you don't fucking like.
I think when you get older, sometimes you're just like, is it worth it? When you're, I don't know, I was like real single mingle for like 3 years. And now that I've been in more serious stuff where I'm like, damn, I have to communicate everything. I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? It just takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, and I mean, it's really interesting now that I've been in a relationship for 5 years. Like the things people are saying, I don't know, it's like mad weird. You're just like, dang, we just come from a different thought process, like relationships. And I don't think like I don't know, some of my thinking is ab fucking normal, I guess. Like everyone's like, are you moving in with your boyfriend? Are you moving in with your boyfriend? I'm like, no, I don't want to. And they're like, oh, and I had one of like our mutual friends be like, "That's really cool that you guys trust each other to live apart." Trust each other to live apart? The fuck are you talking about? I was like, that's the craziest thing anyone's ever said to me. I was like, what the fuck? I literally was like, what do you mean? I literally had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. And they're like, oh, I would like never let my girl like live on her own after 5 years. Like, what like why doesn't she want to live with me? Like that's mad sus. And I was like, what?
People move at different paces, they want different things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do what works for you, do whatever revenge works for you too.
And like a connection and like why I bring that up is like not like a revenge arc, but it might feel like counterculture to do your own thing, but like do it anyways. Like get your revenge on society and what society tells you you need to do. Like I think so much people are like fed like you need to be in a relationship, you need to do this, you need to do that. After 5 years you should have a ring, yada yada yada. No, let's take revenge on societal norms and just do what makes you happy.
Sometimes I think the biggest revenge on societal norms I have taken is by, I don't know, like choosing to act, being cognizant that I'm about to go against it. There's a push for like your relationship needs to be like healthy all the time, but there's no fucking way. I think honestly, the at least for what has worked for me is to throw in the crazy every now and then. You need
Oh,
balance. I can't be if you want to be healthy all the time. Have you ever dated a man? Okay, they just don't shit just doesn't click in a man's brain like it does in a woman's brain. Like I could have a conversation with a girlfriend and after that I know we have a solid understanding. Sometimes I have a
yeah.
conversation with a man and I'm like, I need you to repeat it back to me what you heard because I don't think you get it.
I think about that a lot where it's just like I feel like uh just I don't know what it is. Like I'm like, why the fuck do I have a conversation with my girlfriend and she completely gets what the fuck I'm talking about? Like we don't I but then I'd have a conversation with my boyfriend and
He didn't get it.
I'm
It
like, what
didn't
the
click.
it didn't click. Like, I mean, like 95% of things click, but me and Berenice have conversations and she fucking gets it. Like, I don't have to say it. Like, I don't have to explain hella shit. She understands what I'm coming from. Like, it's crazy. The last revenge arc, I'm kind of getting revenge against my parents. My parents didn't want me to get tattoos. They didn't want me to have like a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? And now I just do whatever the fuck I
All
want.
these things. Your ultimate revenge arc. You know, I honestly feel like mine has been when men try to spin the block 1, 2 years later, and I know they still haven't changed, and I'm like, it's nice that you love me, but have you gone to therapy? No? Okay, here's the link to BetterHelp.
And they do always come back.
Yeah.
If you're ever sad about a breakup, know that in 2 years' time they'll hit you up.
Yeah. And ultimately, the best feeling has been like, do I need this? No. Like
Growing
moving
past
on
a thing.
and getting really over it. Not just over them, but over it. Like sometimes you can be over someone where you know you're not going to go back to that person, but the things that they did still hold something in your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, the best feeling is when they hit you back up 3 years later and they're like, oh my God, like, Loki, love you, want to be together. I'm like, ew, like, why would I ever do that? Like, I truly have worked on myself. I don't need this situation whatsoever. But that's nice.
There's something truly beautiful about getting over it, which is the disrespect. No, joking, but
That
like
they
kinda.
once caused. Yeah, but now it's indifference. I'm like, all right, well, I don't really have the need for you
Yeah.
anymore.
Moving from anger to indifference.
I'm not even tripping about the things that you did anymore. Sometimes I talk about them and I'm like, that's crazy that happened to me. But like, they don't hold anything anymore.
I think that's the best revenge is to like make it funny. I used to be so angry about a couple situations, but like now they're like so hilarious. Well, this will go in the autobiography as a little funny blurb, a little funny antidote.
And now it's like my past life. I was like, oh, my early 20s were so crazy. Like, I did so many silly things.
Yeah. Moving past the crazy. I mean, not everyone, you know what's so funny? Is not everyone needs a revenge arc. Like when it comes to like some people are just vibing, they are causing their own problems, but like me, like I feel like I'm hitting a fat revenge arc in my early 30s is because I had to balance out the craziness of my 20s. I gotta fucking
But it's
get revenge on
nice.
that version of
You
myself.
know, it's nice because then people, I will make you feel better about any situation. Whatever situation you're going through where you feel like silly about how you acted, I already did it and I acted 10 times worse. Okay, so I like, you want to build common ground? No problem. Want to share crazy stories? No problem. You know? And sometimes you need that friend to tell you what you're doing is you reacting from a place of hurt. And maybe it's not okay, but it is something that happens to not just you, to like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, that was revenge, just worry about yourself. All right.
Moral of the story, long story short, worry about your goddamn self. All right, you guys, thank you so much for coming to this episode of Thanks for Your Concern. We loved having you. Like always,
Mhm.
make sure you like, rate, review, and send it to a friend. It really helps us out a lot. And you can find us on social media. At Thanks Number For Your Concern. I'm at Ella L. Tudor.
I'm at Bernice Diaz.
See you next week. Bye.